Even with the fact that many instances of police brutality, mistreatment, harassment are visible either on body camera footage or by citizens using their cell phones, even that fact does not mean that we get justice in the vast majority of these cases. But even so, man, they really don't like it when you film them. And your right to do so is already starting to evaporate. A new bill was just signed into law in Arizona on Wednesday that will make it illegal to take video of police within 8 feet of them. It states specifically, it is unlawful for a person to knowingly make a video recording of law enforcement activity if the person making the video recording is within 8 feet of where the person knows or reasonably should know that law enforcement activity is occurring. And if you do record police within 8 feet, you can face a misdemeanor charge after they're warned once to back up. Now, as I said in our production meeting this morning, this is scary. I get it. A lot of people are gonna be worried about this, but the good thing about it is that cops are now bound by this 8-foot thing. And if you are more than 8 feet away, they would never abuse this. They would never try to stop you from exercising your rights so long as you're 8 feet away, Brett. So it's bad, but I guess it could be worse because as long as you're 8 feet away, you'll be fine.
No, how many of these interactions with traffic stops are filmed by the person being stopped in the traffic stop? That means you can't have a.
We will get to there are some exceptions, including if you're the individual person. We will get to that. But we know that a lot of these are a friend of the person who's being detained or attacked or whatever, a bystander who comes across it. My point being, they're not gonna care about the 8 foot. There's no sensor on the camera that like afterward can be like given to the court that, no, this confirms I was 9 feet away at the point. They're gonna use this to stop. They already try to stop all filming, even without this law. They are going to take this and they're gonna run with it.
Right, and what's to stop the police officer from just walking up to you and closing the distance between where you're filming, especially in an incident where there's multiple cops that have reported to the scene, or a partner that is going to essentially box you out. That's exactly what's gonna happen. And listen, I don't understand why they wouldn't be for more evidence. There's a difference. There's gotta already be, and I hate when I speculate like this, but there's gotta already be some kind of ordinance regulation in place for essentially, I don't know, it's very stupid. There's gotta be some ordinance in place that if you are actually interfering with the cops as they're trying to do whatever they're doing, you get in trouble for that. Like if you take your camera and you put it up in the cop's face and you touch the cop, like that's already illegal. And I understand, like there's situations where people swarm all the time around cops. And I see so many videos on public freakout that are just trying to get famous and are kind of involving themselves in something that doesn't have anything to do with them, where nothing obviously is going wrong, but they're like, I should be able to film anyway. That is an issue, but its solution is not this.
No. Yeah, no, this is, and look, I know some people are saying like, how could this possibly be constitutional? Well, like, what does that have to do with anything these days? What is constitutional? What are you even talking about? They got a supermajority, they don't care. No, this is, you're right. There are some cases in which theoretically a person could be interfering. There are also a lot of cases where the cops are beating the hell out of someone or killing them and need to be filmed. This personally, like, I'm not gonna do this obviously, but I imagine selling phone cases that just have a 9-foot tape measure. But again, it doesn't matter. Originally this was supposed to be 15 feet and then they compromised, they brought it down to 8. It doesn't matter, they're not gonna let you film. They're gonna get in your face, they're gonna assault you, they're gonna do that. Now, I wanna give more details just in case. The law applies to situations in which a police officer is questioning a suspicious person, conducting an arrest, issuing a summons, or enforcing the law, and handling an emotionally disturbed person who is exhibiting abnormal behavior. So everything is the situations. And here are the exceptions. It makes exceptions for police activity on private property in which the person who is recording is authorized to be on the property, but specify that an officer can order the person recording to leave the area if the law enforcement officer determines that the person is interfering in the law enforcement activity. Well, thankfully that's very specific. So again, that couldn't be abused. The law also says that a person who's the subject of police activity can record as long as they're not being handcuffed, searched, or subjected to a field sobriety test. and people in a vehicle that has been stopped by police can record if the occupants are not interfering. Again, they will determine what counts as interfering. And even if you're the person being interfered with, now that they know they're allowed to stop you from recording, if they're doing one of those three things, do you think they might just start to do those things? Again, this is not just ripe for abuse, it's designed for abuse. That is the entire purpose of it.
But we compromised on the number of feet. And all we did in response is say where you should reasonably know that law enforcement activity is happening. Or if any of the things that you probably should be filming cops to make sure they're not messing up with, if any of those things are happening, we still get that in our compromise situation. It just went from 15 to 8 feet.
Yeah.
Like that, just specifically consider reasonably expect law enforcement activity to be happening. Like that, I'm being reasonable without any training, but you police officers are probably going to tell me actually it's reasonable in this 50-foot radius to expect that someone else from police, law enforcement is going to be here.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. Matthias is saying a super chat so they can arrest journalists. Well, look, in advance of this, a lot of those organizations that stick up for First Amendment journalistic rights, they were pointing that out. Yeah, they don't want to be filmed. Like the answer from a reasonable person has always been and should always be stop doing things that would be really damaging to you if the footage came out. But that apparently is too much to ask of them. And so instead, they would rather shred the Constitution. They would rather throw people in jail rather than just stop breaking the law themselves.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.